Oh wait, okay, we're here at the Fimian, is it pronounced?
Yes.
Headquarters in Fairfax, Virginia, and I'm here with a volunteer. Your name, sir?
Edward Salceda.
Okay, Edward, now we were just talking a few minutes ago, and as a volunteer, you're basically putting yourself out in order to support Keith. What makes you decide to do that?
Well, there's various things. I see this period as a very crucial period in our country's history. I'm 69 years old, so I have a frame of reference as to what the country was and what the country is now. And of course, since the 60s, I've seen this gradual degeneration of our society, and I decided that at least 4 years ago to become a volunteer to local politicians. And that's what I've done.
So you've only recently, in the last several years, become involved.
Yes.
Now you're actually ahead of a lot of people. I've talked to a lot of people who only started getting involved in the last 6 months to a year.
Yes.
We seem to see a lot of that all over the country. Do you think it's a general realization that people are having that things have to change? I
think it's maturity. I think that, like, I've gone to the demonstrations here, with the Tea Party, the other conservative type of demonstrations, and I see the majority of the people are within maybe my age group, maybe younger, with kids, and the maturity of seeing what the future of the country is, and it can be very bleak, especially with $1 trillion of debt. And I think that is really driving a lot of people to come to their senses that, you know, somebody's got to pay for this thing. And, you know, at one time, I'm going on too much, but at one time we were a rich country and we could afford to be throwing money around. We could take it. But I think we've come to the realization that those days have passed, and we've got to really, you know, pay our credit cards off. We cannot live on a credit card country.
Now, you said something interesting that I was discussing with Stacy McCain before I dropped them off at home. Campaigns every year talk about, oh, we're going to try and get the youth vote out. We're going to try and get the youth vote out. You mentioned that a lot of the new voters, rather than being 18 and 19, are in their 40s or so, people who weren't involved, who would be regular voters. Have you seen that trend locally?
Yes, I would say that, you know, even though this area is what you would call a federal type of town with a lot of government jobs, but still, like I said, the people that have young kids that, you know, that are no longer thinking about themselves, no longer thinking about getting a BMW on lease, you know, or something of that sort, that there is a future for their kids. And especially now, if they say that our grandkids are going to be paying off this debt, that's a very sobering statement. And so there's that. And then also the disillusion of the young. I mean, you know, Barack came by, beautiful smile, you know, a black man that, you know, you thought, oh, this guy's, you know, he's with it. He's educated, and he says all these beautiful words, even though you don't listen to the last sentence. You know, and so they jumped aboard. But I think that some of those, maybe not all of them, but some of those have kind of seen the light, and hopefully we'll be able to get them. And also the independent voters, of course.
All right, well, thank you very much for your time.
Sure.